Hey guys, welcome to this Loopcloud live stream. I'm your host, Rob Jones from producertech.com, home of quality online music production training. And in this live stream, we're going to be looking at a huge update coming next week, Loopcloud version 5.3, which has some massive changes to one of the instruments, Loopcloud Drum 1.5. Let me just pause myself. I always forget to do that. So the format of the live stream, for the first half, I'm going to run through Loopcloud. And there's not too many huge changes there. Just a few kind of cool things, some cosmetic stuff, a new sidebar. So we'll run through those, and I'll also give you an overview of how the software works for anyone who's new to it. And then halfway through, I'm going to bring in fellow product specialist Joshua Casper, and we're going to chat about the new features to come in Drum 1.5, and then we'll nip back into the software to show you those features so you can see what's new and check them out as well. Now, periodically throughout this live stream, we're going to be doing mini competitions, so you can win 100 points, which will be added into your Loopcloud account. And the way that you can be in with a chance of winning is to smash that like button and get on the chat, pop a comment in there, and then the Loopcloud guys will be monitoring it and we'll pick one of you at random. So we'll be doing this multiple times throughout the live stream, including one right at the very end. So we'll do the first one right now. So get on that chat, pop a comment in there, and one of you will be picked at random. And when Joshua joins me in about 20 minutes time, we'll announce the winners of the competitions from the first half. So while you guys are busy doing that, I'll wait for just one moment, and then I'll switch over to Ableton so we can get going looking at Loopcloud 5.3. So for anyone who's new to it, like I said, Loopcloud is a standalone app, which is a sample browsing, sequencing facility, and it also comes with a plugin, Loopcloud plugin. But all that is really is a way of connecting or linking to your DAW. So I've got this MIDI track here. I'm just going to go to my plugins and add Loopcloud to this MIDI track. And you don't necessarily need to worry about anything else there. You can just close it up. You can see it just has meters on there, audio meters, and also a keyboard. This is because it actually works like a MIDI instrument, so you can sequence it directly from here if you like, and I've done that in other demos. But we're just going to close it up and forget about it. The only other thing to know about really is that the audio routes from Loopcloud onto this track now within Ableton. So now if we switch over to Loopcloud, actually one other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the tempo of my project to 100 BPM so we can create a bit of a hip-hop kind of groove. So in Loopcloud then, you can see, doesn't look a whole lot different, but that sidebar, I think I mentioned earlier, over here on the right now has a few extra features, which we'll look at as we go. I'm going to dive straight in with the searching though. So whenever you want to come and find samples from Loopcloud, you can just go straight to the top, type in what it is you're looking for. This is the way I do it anyway, it's slightly quicker. So I'm typing in drum, and then it brings up a list below. I just click on one, and then I can choose here in the filter results if I want to search for a one shot or a loop. So I'm going to go with loops. And the other thing I'm going to do is go to the sidebar now. You can see anyone who's been using Loopcloud until now will know that this key and BPM section used to be up here with the tags. Now you've got it over on the right, and it's such a great feature. It's nice to have it easily accessible here. So all I have to do is click on the match tempo, and you can see it now sets the tempo to within a range of my project, so 94 to 106 BPM there. This means that I'm now only searching for drum loops that are that specific tempo. Now, also some of you who've been using Loopcloud for a while might have noticed here, or maybe not, that we're not getting the products showing up at the top here. And that's because I've deactivated this switch. And now it used to be that you'd enlarge the player and the products would automatically disappear, but now you can keep them there as long as you want, or make them disappear by clicking on the switch there, just so you maximize your search results. So yeah, let's go through some of these drums. There's a favorites one somewhere. Now I can also narrow it down. Obviously searching in this BPM is going to only bring up, well, largely hip-hop loops. That's probably the main genre. But if I wanted to, I could narrow it down by actually typing hip-hop into the search field. Nice, that one's sounding good, so I'll go with one of them. It's one of my favorites as well. I'll show you favorites in a moment though, because that's another new thing that's changed. So moving on then, I'll move on to track 2. Now, if you like, you can use Loopcloud in a very simple way, just using a single track, finding what you want, and then dragging things out. Personally, I like to use it slightly more fully, actually making use of the multi-track facility here, where you can actually stack up samples on top of each other, which means you can do things like make really comprehensive beats, actually sequencing all the drums individually, like I did in the last live stream. Or you can stack up some drums with some basses and arps and lead parts, and you can actually get your groove going, you know, the nuts and bolts of your track. So we're going to use it that way right now, so I'm going to switch to track 2. And when I do that, I then need to click the plus up the top here to start a new search. So I'm going to search this time for some chord loops. So I type in chord and then loops. And again, I'm going to match the tempo on the sidebar here. And we could go for hip hop again. Let's go for that. Yeah, I'm quite liking the sort of funkier ones actually. So if I get rid of hip hop, I could search for kind of jazz loops as well. It's really narrowed it down now to this pack. I'm just going to go with that first one. Again, it's a favorite. So to show you the favorites now, you can see you've got these little heart switches at the side here. If I click on one of those, it adds this favorite tag, which you can normally search for by actually clicking on the heart there, which shows your favorites in the search results. So you can still do it that way, but now I can come over to the sidebar and I can click on the heart, and then it brings up all of your favorite samples right there on the right, and you can just drag them straight out, select them, and it just loads them straight up into the player, onto that search. So yeah, that's the addition of the favorites there. Let's just move on to another track, and let's go with percussion, and we'll stick to loop this time so I can show you how you can chop them up. I'll go with loop and match the tempo. Quite varied there. Surprising amount of guitar ones popping up. It's quite nice. Yeah, that's sounding good. Let's see if I had a favorite one in there. That's kind of the kind of sound I'm after actually, so we'll go with that one. And now let's just chop this up to show you some of the things you can do down here in the player. So if I wanted to slice out any bits I don't want, all I have to do is switch to the split tool here. You can see it changes the cursor. and this has got a little bit more intelligent in this version. You can of course change the grid. You can select what kind of grid functionality you want here by choosing a specific size, like 16th notes would be a popular one, or you can have it set to auto where it changes as you zoom in and out. So let's slice out this bit. Now there's another way of doing this without jumping up here, where if you hold down the Alt key, you can actually jump to it without having to go up the top there, which makes things a bit quicker. Let's just undo those. So yeah, slice out bits. You can also reverse bits. So we could maybe slice out this, maybe, or I've just held down Command there and copied it over. I'm just going to drag it over. Oh yeah, actually I'll do that. Holding down Command there, so I guess that would be Control on a PC, means you can duplicate a slice. So I've just duplicated that one over there. And now I'm going to click on the reverse tool there, click on that. You can see it just reverses that slice. I'm going to bring that down a bit in level, so it should now kind of nicely slide into our snare on that beat. So yeah, some great editing options there for loops, and of course if I search for additional loops now, it will maintain all the editing positions that you have, which is really useful. If I use it in a very simple way, actually, just to find a loop, chop it out so it's literally just a slice that's on one beat, for instance, I can go through tons of different loops, always previewing just that particular beat, just that part of the loop. Maybe we'll do that in a moment. Let's move on to a different track though. I'll actually show you how you can sequence your own parts. So you don't need to do a percussion loop here. We could jump over, see how I'm clicking on the mutes, by the way. This mutes any of these tracks, so you can mute them by clicking on their switches there. You can solo them, as I did at the end here with the master switch, which will just play the one you have selected. So let's mute this percussion loop, go on to track 4, and then I'll just search for percussion one-shots this time. How are we doing for time? So we're 30 minutes past. Actually, I'll stop right there and we'll do another little competition. So if you just joined us, we're going to be running these competitions throughout the whole thing. One of you will be picked at random to win 100 points, which will be added into your Loopcloud account. All you have to do is jump on that chat right now, post a comment in there, smash the like button, and one of you will be picked at random. And then Joshua, when he joins me in about sort of 10 minutes or so, will be announcing the winners of the first half. Okay, back to our percussion one-shot. So I've got percussion, I've got one-shot selected. Actually, you know what, let's go for a clave. And I'll just show you, by the way, if I open up the instruments menu here, this is where the tags are being selected from. So whenever I type something up here, it just brings up whatever tags are available with those letters from this area. So here, it's quite nice to go into this sometimes if you're not really sure what to add, like you want to add something a bit more diverse. You can actually just check out what different types of percussion you got here and narrow it down. So we could go for a cowbell, we could go for a finger cymbal, why not? Timpani, brilliant. We'll go for a clave. So first one's good, let's just go with that. And now we can sequence it any way we like, or we can just go straight to the pattern menu here. Now in the pattern menu, you can see we've got different categories. So I could go with percussion and then maybe choose one of the claves, see what they suggest. Pretty nice. I could maybe mix up the levels a bit. You can see when I have the mouse cursor at the top here, you can adjust the levels. So I could turn them down maybe when they're sort of on-beat ones, just have the off-beats and kind of syncopated notes a little bit louder maybe. This one is quite long. You can see it's got quite a long tail there, and it's got a bit of room noise potentially. You can hear that kind of trail. But if you had a drier one, like maybe one of these, I could add some reverb to it. That's another thing you can do in Loopcloud. I just click on the FX Edit switch to open the effects section, and I click on the plus, and then we go to reverb, and then you've got percussion enhancers, quite a nice preset. You can also automate effects, but maybe we'll look at that in a bit. So see which one I prefer, that one with the reverb added, or maybe the other one. Both good. Cool. Just going to bring it down a little bit. See, you've got a little level slider here, so I can drag it down. Nice. Where to now? Let's go for a different one shot. Let's maybe sequence in some chords of our own, actually. So I'll mute this one, and let's see how easy it is just to create our own kind of thing. So I'm going to go with could go with chord. Maybe I'll go with pad instead, though. Just click on pad, one shots. See what we got here. Tons of really awesome ones in there. Here's one I favorited. It's quite lush. Let's go with that one. Now, one quick way of sequencing a pad actually is to go to the pattern menu, go to the bars and beats, and just choose eighths. Another way of doing that actually, which is pretty quick, is just to go with the pencil tool and just run it along and quickly click on different areas, and it just slices it up in exactly the same way, a bit more randomly. So yeah, a few different ways to do it. I'm just going to delete any I don't want, and then we can maybe drag these around to create an interesting pattern. So maybe go for something like this. Now, as this is a really long sample, and at the moment we're just sort of playing that first bit over and over again, what we can do is go to the scrub tool and just drag through and find a different part of it. Quite nice. I did like that fade though that was on it. Obviously at the very beginning of the sample has a fade, so what I can do is just drag the edge here and actually keep that fade going. Pretty nice. Let's maybe add a bass to that now. We'll go bass loops, match tempo, and maybe hip hop again. But this time what we're going to do is tune the bass, so it's going to be in tune with our pad. So to do that, if I just go back to the pad sample, we can see it's in C minor 7. So all we have to do now is go to the key here, select C, and you can see it automatically turns on the auto tune button now, which is a tiny little time-saving new feature. So it's now repitched that sample to the right key for me. See, this is a slightly more complicated bass line. Let's try this one. sounding pretty good. Just going to mute the clay for a minute. Now we could extend it out if we wanted to. We could actually turn it into a slightly longer loop here. We could maybe duplicate this a few times. Let's go out. So it's a 4-bar long loop. And then we can repitch these samples to create a bit of modulation, basically. Go to a different key. Before we do that, though, 21 minutes past. Let's do another competition. Again, if you've just joined us, jump onto the comments right now. Post something into the chat. The Loopcloud guys are monitoring it, and they'll pick one of you at random to win 100 points, which will be added into your Loopcloud account. And when Joshua joins me in probably about 5 minutes or so, he will announce the winners so far. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll be doing a few more of these competitions as we go throughout the live stream. Where were we? So we were sequencing this one shot. So let's maybe modulate to a different key for the last part. Let's maybe come up a minor third to zoom in to actually see that. 3 up by 3 semitones. It's often good to modulate to thirds, whether it's minor or major. Relative minor is a good key to modulate to, or relative major, which is 3 semitones up or down, depending on which you're going from. Relative minor is 3 semitones below the relative major, in case you're wondering. So we'll modulate up to this minor third, see how that sounds. And then for a bass, let's follow that same pattern as well. So this one is 2 bars long already, so I'm just going to drag it over here and do the same thing, drag it out to a 4-bar loop, and then take the pitch and take that up by 3. See how that sounds. Yeah, create a few kind of passing notes there, and I think that's sounding quite nice. Now, another way of using the repitching is to create arpeggiated phrases, which is something I've been actually working on. I'm creating a bank. I've already distributed a few to our members, our Produce Tech members, people who are members on our website, and I'll show you a sort of preview of the bank now. If I just go to a new search and type in something like marimba's always quite a good one for demoing this. Let's just go with this one. Again, I want to tune it, so I'm going to go auto, hit that auto button. It's already got C selected. And then if I go to the patterns, you can see there are some in the factory presets in the arpeggios category there, but if I go to my own presets in the standard arps folder, I've already created sort of 22 here. Go to one of those. Yeah, just a preview of some of the different ones I've got. Almost all of those are literally just different inversions of a minor triad, just occasionally going to slightly more interesting notes, changing up the rhythm, all that kind of thing. But having these sorts of patterns there makes it really quick and easy to create these kind of ARP lines. You just need to select the key that you're in, have it auto-tune that sample for you, bring up the pattern, and then you can drag out your one-shot sequenced into an arpeggiated loop ready to go for you. So what else is actually new here? We got the sidebar. What haven't I mentioned? Probably quite a lot. So sidebar, we've also got history, which was there before, tag editing, which is there before. We got different themes now. Let's just go to the preferences. Actually, maybe this was here before. We got a dark mode. If you guys prefer, you know, things are a bit darker. I personally prefer the light mode. And maybe Joshua can remind me of any new features if I've skipped any out when he joins me in a moment. We can always switch back to it quickly to show anything if I've missed anything crucial in there. So at this point, let's just drag these sounds into live so you can see the sort of final step once you've chosen the sounds you want. Now, of course, I could go back into any of these tracks and I could keep going with the searching, switch up in my one shots. You know, let's just go for a different marimba, say here. And so on. And you don't need to commit to this at any in any way right now if you don't want to. You can keep them all there. You can switch to live. You can start working in your project, building up sounds in there. And only when you've finally got to a point where you want to commit, you can then purchase any if they're not in your library already, and then drag out those loops. So Loopcloud is not just a way of coming up with incredible music, but it's a way of doing that with samples that are in the huge Loopcloud library of 4 million samples. And only when you finally want to commit, then you can drag them out of Loopcloud. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. You've got these original and process switches here. They will drag out whatever you have playing. So if I just unmute everything, it will drag out all of these now. If I drag out original, it just drags out the original sample. So this last track would simply be the one shot. So I'm going to drag out processed. I don't think I need to buy anything. It will come up with a little buy switch if there's anything that you don't own already, and then those points will be deducted from your account. But it's a really instantaneous process. So what I'm going to do is hold down the Alt key, and I'm going to drag out the process switch. You can see it says 7 there, which is my 7 tracks. And then if I come over to live, you can see them all appearing on a single track there, but if I hold the command key, they all appear on individual tracks. And that is all of those sounds then added into live. And I just duplicate them out to have them all right there. And I'm just going to turn them all down because they'll be a bit loud. And try and remember which ones were which here. Turn off these two, I think. Yeah, loop that, and that's my whole groove in there. So yeah, really quick and easy to work with Loopcloud to get these sounds out and it's straight into your DAW. So that's sort of quite neatly taken us to the halfway mark. So at this point, we're going to switch over to this one, and we're going to welcome Joshua Casper. Hey man.
Hey, what's up, Rob?
How you doing?
I'm great. Great job on the stream thus far. Really impressed, as usual.
Thanks, man.
Knocking it out of the park.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think you pretty much covered everything that needs to be covered as an introduction. It's such a robust platform at this point. It's kind of impossible to really hit everything, but I think you really did a great job as far as introductions are concerned.
Thank you. I do love it.
There were a couple of questions in the chat that I think you actually answered about the different themes. Someone was asking if there's a dark theme. You showed that. Someone was asking about auto key. You showed that. A couple of things that I use personally that I didn't hear you mention that we might as well just talk about while we're here.
Yeah.
One thing is, because of the way Loopcloud connects to the DAW, it's a VST, essentially like a VST instrument. Because it's that, you can actually throw VST effects after that on the channel and process that audio with your own third-party or DAW effects right there on the channel before you need to make a purchase, or before you need to download, or before you need to drag and drop. You can already get kind of a sense if you need compression, or if you need, your specific spring reverb or whatever it is. Just throw it behind the Loopcloud VST in your DAW, and you can process the audio right there. Now, obviously, if you're streaming a loop or sample from the database that you haven't made the purchase, you'll still have the bird noise there, but it still allows you to get a general sense of how things are going to sound once you get in and start to process it right inside of your DAW, which is something that I use all the time. So I just figured I'd throw that out there in case people were curious about it.
Yeah, the first time I saw that actually in Loopcloud, in one of the earlier versions, where it was, I think, a bass line that had been sequenced in Loopcloud, and then there was a compressor in live side chaining it with the kick. So it's actually ducking that bass line that you don't own. That's the thing. It's a one shot you've got from a sample pack just in the store, being sequenced in your track straight into live, which is pretty. First time I saw that, was pretty blown away.
Yeah, I mean Loopcloud's built-in effects are again, you got a ton of them to work with, but some people are very particular about certain things. And you kind of hit the nail on the head there. This is all before you need to actually purchase the sound, which is just, it's mind-blowing. I say that a lot about Loopcloud, but that's the truth. Something else that I want to point out too is, and it was a question in the chat, is you can save your Loopcloud project file. It will save whatever loops you have loaded. It will save your effects, your patterns, everything for you, and you can come back to it later if you're not quite sure, or you need to go do something or whatever. And you can even share those project files with your friends, and if they don't happen to have the sample, it will still load the sample as it should, but it will just be something that they need to make the purchase if they want to collaborate with you on that.
Yeah.
And that's, I do a lot of collaboration in Loopcloud, and it's been a lifesaver since that feature's been added. That's not new to the newest update, but it's there, and people are probably going to take advantage of it as much as I do.
Yep, I use it a lot for sure. Yeah, every time I'm doing a track, basically, I save the session. I actually rarely go back to it. Normally, I can find them in the history, or they've saved okay. But it's great to have that backup there, just whenever you need it. Yeah.
And another thing that I use, I'm working with Loopcloud, is custom shortcuts. I do a lot of work with Premiere Pro, and you've got kind of how to cut, how to slice, how to go back to your pointer tool, and it's different than how it is. Every program's kind of different, but I'm just so used to that Premiere Pro layout that I jump into Loopcloud, and I've switched up all of the editing tools to mirror that. So now, I'm just cutting, slicing, moving very quickly using those shortcuts, and having the ability to do that, again, it's just another kind of like premium feature that's just there in Loopcloud already. And if for people who like shortcuts, which are most people, just to know that that's there and available, I think is kind of important. It is kind of more of an advanced thing, but it is there in the settings, and easy to make your own custom routings and whatnot.
Yeah, nice one. So well, I think we should jump over to Drum 1.5. Before we do that, though, do you have the names of the winners?
I do. So
exciting.
No, yeah. I've got 3 winners, right? You wanna throw out one more right now?
Yeah, let's do another one right now?
Let's do one more right now. Put it in the chat, guys. Hit that like button, and we are going to choose one more winner right now. So now's the time.
Get in there.
So while we're checking out the chat to get the new winner, the first winner was Dean Garland.
Well done, Dean.
The second, congratulations, Dean. The second winner was Matt Woosnam. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I could be wrong.
Go.
Forgive me.
Go, Matt.
And then the third winner was Slick times 45. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but it is SLICKX45. You are the third winner. And let me just pop over to my chat about the number 4. Let's just see.
Slick X45. Nice.
Slick X45. You are a winner. And here we go. Number 4 is Clang Labor. I love usernames, by the way. Usernames are the best.
Clang Labor. Awesome. Okay, 4th winner. We'll do a few more of these, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Keep the chat active, and we are picking names throughout. So once again, that's Dean Garland, Matt Woosnam, Slick45, and Clang Labor. You are winners. Congratulations.
Sweet. So let's move on to drum 1.5 now. So we have some huge features in drum 1.5. This launch is massive for drum. It's it's got some great updates. Where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, just before we even jump into exactly what's new, I've been with the company, with Loopcloud since the beginning, and like Loopcloud, it's just so great to see drum evolve from where it started to what it is now, and even kind of having an idea of where it's going. It's, again, I like to use the word robust when describing these things because they're just so great. It used to just be a pretty simple sequencer, and now with the ability, the biggest new feature I would say for this update is the randomized drum kit sounds.
Without doubt.
It's just been added. It's coming out. Do you know the exact date when it's going to be released?
I think it's the 17th.
Okay,
so next Thursday, is it?
Yeah. And just go ahead and update when you can, because what it can do now is you've got your if you've got a pack or if you've got your own drum kit, you just hit one of the pads and it will bring up a window where you can roll the die, and it will give you another drum hit that is similar to the drum sound that you're working with. So if you select your kick, it will randomize to another kick. It's not going to give you like a vocal one shot. It's going to say, he's looking for kicks, I'm going to give him another kick. And it will actually give you a history. So if you're just keep hitting the randomizer and going through, and then you just pass one that you want, you can hit the back arrow, go back. You can even narrow things down by instrument tags and genre tags if you want to be more specific or less specific. You can even just clear everything and just get a random sound. So if you don't want a kick, or maybe you want to just roll the dice for real and see what it's just going to give you completely randomly, you can do that as well. And it's fantastic. You'll be so many happy accidents just come from hitting that randomize, because you can not only, you can randomize just that one kick, or you can randomize the entire kit. So there's a button that just says select all. You select all the pads, hit that randomize button. It happens very, very quickly, scans your library, puts them in there, and you'll have a completely new kit with whatever sequence you're working with. And on top of that, if you're just looking to randomize a few, like maybe your kick and your snare and your hat, but you want to keep your bass and your synth stabs or whatever as they are, but you're just looking to change up your percussion or whatever, you can actually select whichever pads individually or in groups, whatever group size you want, and then randomize just those as well. So this randomize feature is really opens up the doors to what a drum can offer you, on top of just getting, really incredible sounding packs from the store or building things yourself. That randomized feature is just next level.
Yeah, and once you have, well, if you take a preset or if you take one of the starter kits, which is a new thing as well, you can literally just open it up, select all pads, just a few clicks, randomize, and come up with a brand new kit. Just in no time at all. So it really is a humongous feature, and it's brought it definitely closer in alignment to Loopcloud. It's kind of things that you can do in the Loopcloud app there.
And with it's got a really great export feature too. So there's no reason why you couldn't hit the randomize feature, bounce that to wave as a sequence, or if you just solo one channel, you can get that stem and just keep doing that. And it works right quickly. It works right inside of Loopcloud Drum. You hit export, you render it, you rename it. It puts it right inside of your Loopcloud library for later. And you can just do this. Every time you hit random, it's going to get a new feel, a new kind of swing, a new whatever. You save it. You go back, you hit random, you save it. And before you know it, you've got yourself essentially a loop pack that you've just made in the matter of minutes.
Yep.
And just doing that over and over, different sequences, different whatever, it's just going to exponentially expand your library when it's go time and you need to find the right thing, if you don't already have it cranking inside of drum.
Yeah, so a huge feature. We'll take a look at the randomizer in a moment. Before that though, let's see what else is new. The
Oh, go ahead.
the browser is a brand new.
Yeah, the browser looks super clean now.
Yep.
When you get in there, you have, let me just, I've got it open here on my screen. So when you jump into the browser, and you guys are going to see this in a minute, you've got a store tab where it'll show you all of the packs, and you can preview the demo, or you can actually preview the individual elements or tracks. Each drum pack, comes with 3 different presets, and that will give you a completely original drum kit with a sequence that goes with it, and they all sound phenomenal. But right inside of the browser, when you connect to the store, you can actually preview the whole thing or the individual projects themselves to decide whether or not that's the pack you want to go with. If you play the demo, it's just going to play at the normal speed that it was produced at. But if you actually run one of the project demos, the individual project demos, it will sync to your host BPM. So if you're looking to get adventurous and try maybe a drum and bass track at a slower BPM, you just change the BPM inside of your DAW, and you can easily preview it at the tempo that you're working in. Then there's the purchase tab, which will show you all of the different packs that you have in your library already. Starter kits is a new thing where it's got just like your basic kit or a kicks and snares kit where you could just kind of like starting points to jump in and get things cranking. You can also just load up an empty preset, kind of like a default setting or initialize type thing where you can just build it up from scratch, everything by yourself. And then, of course, like I was saying before, when you can actually export the different stems or the different kits or the different loops, you can actually save kits as well. So if you don't want to export, maybe you just want to save different settings, you can do that inside of the save options as well. So browser, really great, very simple to use, loads things super fast, and that's another new feature.
Yeah.
Another new feature that I think is really worth mentioning is usually when you have a drum sequencer, you get A and B. So you can run A and then go to B, and it'll switch back to A. So you can have more bars to play with. You can add a fill, or you can have things change. Now inside of Loopcloud Drum, you actually have up to H. So it's 8 different sequences that you can have on any one kit. And not only that, but you can have it go right down the line. It's easy to copy a pattern and add it, so you don't need to like redo things. But now you can also trigger those quantized with your MIDI keyboard. So you can actually let it be playing, and then if you want to trigger a crazy fill or a breakdown or whatever, you can actually do that right with your keyboard, which makes drum go into the actual live performance territory, or just to add that extra kind of feel. And the fact that it's quantized, you're not going to make any mistakes with it. So it's really sweet that the addition of that feature as well.
Yeah. So quantized, it's tempo lock, but in addition to that, it doesn't re-trigger them, so they stay in the whatever position of the bar that the actual pattern is. So it's kind of hard to explain that, but what I mean is the beats all stay quantized, but it stays locked to the actual bar as well. So you can jump around from pattern to pattern, and it always play that specific part in the bar without re-triggering that pattern. Anyway, I'll show you. It's probably easier to show you than
it's great. You can get some glitchy effects too if you just like load up a bunch of bass synth vocal one shots and then just kind of jump around. It might be a good creative way to get some glitchy stuff going too.
All right. Well, before I jump into it, then should we do another?
I think we should, Rob.
Quick conversation.
I think it's called.
Yeah.
I think the chat wants it. Yeah. We want to give it to the chat.
They're screaming.
So now's the time.
All right. So if you just joined us, jump onto the chat now, post a comment, smash that like button, and we will pick one of you at random to win 100 points, which will be added to your Loopcloud account. So while you guys are doing that, I'll come back to you at the end, Joshua, just for a sign off and so you can announce any winners of these competitions that I'm going to run. Keep running through this next part where we're just going to switch over to Loopcloud Drum. But thank you for now, and we'll see you in a moment. Cheers, mate.
Sounds good. Ciao.
So, okay, switching back to live then. So, yeah, again, if you just joined us, I just dragged in a load of loops that we created in Loopcloud. So I'm going to turn off the drums now. See what we The percussion loop as well. So you can turn them all off apart from our chords loop here. And now we can use Loopcloud Drum to build up some beats to go with that. So just going to turn it on, open it up here, and we'll go straight to the browser. So the browser is accessed by clicking at the top here. So previously, obviously, when you click there, if you've been using Drum till now, you'll know that a little menu came up. Now we've got this whole section with different tabs for clicking on. So if I go straight to my purchase kits now, you can see all of the packs there nicely. And you just have to click on one. So let's go with one of the hip hop ones. If you have a ton of packs, obviously you can narrow it down by only looking at a certain genre. So let's just click on the broadcast hip hop one here. If I want to preview any of the packs, I just click on the preview switches here. Sounding good. Let's just load the first one. As Joshua mentioned, this previewing's tempo locked, so it's playing at 100 BPM right now. So let's just load in the first one. You just click load to load them in. And so let's just load that one back in. And I'm just going to mute some of these now. Actually, I'll just show you the store first. Let's just go back to the browser. Click here. So on the store tab, you can see there's tons of drum stuff available. And one thing that we didn't mention is the sample expansion packs, which aren't in the store right now, so I can't actually show you them. But they are packs that contain, I think it's 128 one-shots, as well as a bunch of presets for drum. So they're kind of like sample packs for drum, essentially. Bigger than just the regular Loopcloud drum packs, which are just 3 kits. So there'll be a ton of those in different genres coming out in the store when drum comes out. So here we go. Here are all the packs that are available right now. So I can narrow it down, say, to hip hop. There you go. It just shows me what's available there. And then I can just choose one of these packs, say. If I like a pack, click on buy, accept it, and it just purchases the pack right for me. And then I can just check it out in my library straight away. Clear those filters. Now you can see it added right at the end there. So, and then I can just load it in from my purchase kits in exactly the same way. So just click on it. And then load in any of the ones I want. So let's have a look at the load locks. So at the moment, obviously, we're getting quite a few samples coming up here, like all these basses and synths. Often the melodic ones are in the upper half of the pack here. So what I could do is kind of mute all those, go back into the browser, click on the load settings here, and you can see you can actually deactivate all these different options. So I could keep the pattern as it is. I could keep the mutes and solos as they are. Just have to click on them and only change the sample settings and the effects. So now when I click on any of these, like this one maybe, loads in the samples, but it keeps we can load in a different kit and it'll do exactly the same. And now I'm just doing it using the forward and back arrows. If you want to get a bit more adventurous, you can click on the randomizer here. And it will just load one of your kits at random, keeping all those settings exactly the same. So it's kind of a cool feature there. Let's go back to the browser. Here are the other things you've got in here. You've got the starter kits and the saved kits. So the starter kits, as we said, are a great way of just starting off with a kind of, well, either a completely initialized one, which is the empty preset with nothing on, which we'll look at in a moment, or just something like this basic kit here. The basic kit just has the drums loaded into the 8 pads. And now we'll just switch over and look at the randomizer, which is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is this thing you can see on the left-hand side here, and it's open and close like this. You can see right now it shows the waveform of the sample, so we've got a kick there, snare, hat, so on. All I have to do if I want to switch out any one of these samples is click on the randomizer switch right here with it selected. So to change the kick, I can change it to that mental sample, and so on. Or I can just go select all pads, and it selects everything, hit random. Another mental kick there for my collection. Yes, I like mental kicks. So a really, really quick way there to just come in, load it up, select all pads, hit randomize, and you've instantly switched out all of those samples with kicks, claps, snares, hats, and so on in your library. So really, really quick. You can also refine the search to a specific genre. So if I go to one of my purchase kits and actually let's load one of the hip hop ones back up, like one of these chill ones. Ooh. So here we go. Again, I've just loaded it up with the pattern I've already had in there, so I've kept that load lock on. So now I can select all pads, and they're already tagged with the genre hip hop, so I don't need to do that. But if they weren't, and I was just using the basic kit, say, I would just click plus, which opens up all of the tags. And much like in Loopcloud itself, here you can just deactivate or activate any genres from this list here. So I could change it to trap, say, and then hit randomize. Actually liking that first one, so I've just used the back arrow there to just go back to that selection. So yeah, not only can you randomize like that, but you can just go back to previous selections using the forward and back arrows. So instrument tags are selected in the same way as genres. Just click on the plus, and then you can deactivate or activate any from there. Another thing you've got in the genre area here is I've actually created my own genre tag down here for a factory library that I have for Machine 2. Very cool facility. If I jump over to Loopcloud, I'll show you. If I go to the library, all you have to do to add your own personal sample collection or one for another software sampler, say, like in this instance, you just drag it straight into Loopcloud, and it analyzes it, it tags it all up. If I click on it, just open it up, you can see you've got your drums in there, you've got claps. Yeah, it just reads what's in there and it tags them all up using all these tags that it's added just by dragging and dropping in there. And all I've done, and it doesn't copy these samples anywhere, by the way, it's just a manager application, if you like. Keeps everything exactly where it is. Just reads it, tags it all up. And what I've done here is I've added a Machine 2 tag using the tag manager here. There's a separate video on this, by the way, but it is quite straightforward to do. You just go to your genres, right click, create tag, and then it adds it into your tags there. And you can see it's been added to this folder, which means it gets added to all of the samples within it. So now back in drum, if I wanted to have a kick, say, that was just from that library on this pad, then I can get rid of trap, choose Machine 2, and then randomize it. That's enough. That's enough. And it loads up just one of the kicks from that library. So yeah, pretty awesome there. If you have a particular library that you know of your favorites on your hard drive or your personal collection or anything like that, then you can just tag it up really easily there and then use the genre field to search for just those samples. So another very cool feature. Let's see, we've also got before we move on to the sequencer, let's just have a look at some of the other save options and exporting, how we're doing for time. Oh, should probably stop and do another competition while we're here.
I was just about to say, Rob, you don't start sleeping on this. We need to get another giveaway going right now.
Yeah. So if you just joined us, jump into the comments and type something into the chat there. Leave a comment, smash the like button, and one of you will be picked at random to win 100 points, which will be added to your Loopcloud account. So get on that right now, and then Joshua will announce the lucky winners when he joins me in about 5 minutes. So let's see. Let's say I've created my kit here by editing, randomizing different samples, creating my own patterns, all that sort of thing. I can just click on save, and you've got a few more options in here now. You've got an advanced tab where you can save the patterns with the kit. You can also save an audio mix down, and you can collect all samples. So if I just type in a name here, like hip hop live stream, and save that. You've also got the option, by the way, of saving it as a starter kit. But now in my save kits, you can see it's popped up. If it doesn't pop up right away, you can click on rescan and it appears. So you can just load it directly from there. And in Loopcloud, I go into drum kits, hip hop live stream. You can see there's the preset Loopcloud drum. It's the LCDK one, I believe. Then you've got a MIDI loop there. You've also got a WAV. Let's just solo that. So yeah, every time you save your kit, if you have that checkbox ticked, it will add an extra drum loop of your break into your Loopcloud library. So it's a really great way of building up loops, and particularly if you're doing, say, percussion kits or something like that, you can build up percussion loops and top loops really easily. Now, if you don't want to save the kit, if it's just a case of randomizing things and you think that sounds awesome, but I don't actually want to save the kit, then you can use the export feature. Just click on that, render the audio, and then it bounces it as a loop to your Loopcloud library as well. So again, it just this rendering allows you to render audio and then drag it out into your project if you want to work that way. But it's a quick way of adding it to your library without having to do anything any more complicated. Just click on that render, and it will bounce down your whole pattern. So that's a very cool feature. Actually, one final thing before we get into the sequencer. I know we don't have too much time left. We'll go to the starter kits and we'll go to the empty preset. You can see now we've got nothing loaded up here. Actually, I'll turn these back on, load it again. So yeah, this is a completely empty preset with nothing in. So what it allows me to do now is just come in here, select tag, go vocal, go OK. You can see now that's been applied to all of our pads here. Select all pads, hit randomize, and now we instantly have a pack with vocal one-shots on every one of the pads there. So it's basically in a few clicks you've automatically got a very cool kit that's going to allow you to create kind of vocal chops in your production, and at any point you can just select all the pads and randomize them once again. So very cool. And then you could just save that as a starter kit if you wanted to use as a starting point for creating a similar kit in a different project. So I think that's everything I wanted to say up there. Let's load up another preset like this percussion kit. Let's load that one up. So I'm just going to solo it now. And I'm just going to clear a couple of these patterns so I can show you here down the bottom of the sequencer. As Joshua was mentioning earlier, you've now got 8 switches here. So these can be 8 unique 1-bar patterns. I'm just going to clear the first 2. By clicking on them, you can see they're clearing. And now this one's empty. Let's just work out a few like bongo if you like bongo hits. Let's go with some of these clicks. You can also create a random pattern with it selected here. That'll do. Of course, you can randomize, switch any of these out if you want a slightly different sound. Maybe not. Different bongo. So I'm going to keep it simple just for the case of, just so we can keep things short right now. So let's just copy this over right now to pattern B. So with it selected here, copy, click on B, you can see it goes green. And now we have a replica here for B. We could maybe do something different at the end. Yeah, maybe add a little bongo roll. And then we could create a pattern down the bottom here with A, B, A, B. That's exactly the same, isn't it? Let's maybe copy that to C and do something different for C as well. Even more rolls. Yeah. There we go. And now we've got this ABAC 4-bar pattern. I need to just turn it on though. There we go. So that is the sequencer. Loads of other stuff that's really cool down here as well. The ability to shift the timing left or right, which allows you to do things like layer up drums and kind of separate them slightly and create a more natural feel along with the swing. So I think that is all of the features, and that's brought us around to the hour. So I guess that's a good place to stop. And also Joshua can tell me if I've missed anything out at all. Hey, man.
Hey, no, another great job, of course, knocking it out of the park, man. I'm jealous. I wish I was as good as you.
Oh, thanks. From you, high praise.
Just a couple of things. I don't know if you showed dragging and dropping samples from your browser in your DAW. That's a possibility now. You can just drag and drop right from your library into Drum, and not only will it let you play that, but it will also tag it. Just like if you drag and drop samples into Loopcloud, it will automatically tag it for you, and then you can use the randomize feature with it, and it will bring it up or randomly choose it sometimes.
Yep.
Also, it's got built-in effects in the mixer, some really great sounding reverbs and delays and such. But just like the Loopcloud VST, this is an instrument, so you can easily throw your own effects after it if you want a room reverb, plate reverb or something, or compressor or whatever you want. You just drag it on there just like you would any other instrument, and adding your own effects, your own compressors and so on is a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, I didn't show that, but while you're talking here, I brought the software up in the background, and you can see there's a mixer switch at the top. I didn't mention this because it's not a new feature, it was with the previous versions, but if you click there, you can now see a mixer with all of the drums there, and right at the top we have send effects and master effects, which can be added in. So it's a really nice way of adding further processing to your sounds.
Yes, and I have a couple of more things. We're going to be giving away more, and I've got a couple of winners already. Mm-hmm. But I just want to point out that we've got some other live streams coming up on the Plugin Boutique channel. Next Tuesday, I'll be interviewing BT, and if you guys are familiar, he's world-renowned producer. Yeah, really amazing sound design artist, and we're going to be chatting with him on the Plugin Boutique channel, so definitely tune into that. And then you and I will actually be doing another big, massive live stream around Christmas time, where we're actually going to be reviewing the top 10 new VST plugins for 2020. And not only that, but we're going to give away a copy of each. So tune into that we're going to give 10 winners each one copy of the thing. So one winner will get one, another winner will get the other one, and so on. Right down someone's at my door. I can't believe they're not respecting the fact that I'm ignoring their knocking.
Oh, they're just
because
carrying
I'm busy.
On
they're just So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be a massive live stream. It's going to work the same way. We're going to tell you about some fantastic plugins that were released this year. So tune into that. Oh my gosh! Now I'm getting. It's just.
They won't leave you alone.
Okay,
They really want you. It might be an emergency. Don't mean to worry you, but
I'm almost certain it's my daughter's friend who just wants her to play. She's not even here. So anyway, so that's going to be happening too the week of Christmas. I believe it's on the 22nd. We've got that planned. So, and that's going to be on the Plugin Boutique channel as well. So tune in over there. Another massive thing for everyone who has a Loopcloud artist, studio, or professional subscription. We're going to give you a free plugin next week just for being a member of Loopcloud.
It's ridiculous.
So
it's amazing.
Yeah. So that, I mean, just cause it's kind of like a Christmas gift. So if you're not subscribed, now might be the time to do it, because we're going to be giving you a plugin for funsies next week. So if you're already subscribed, it's coming to you. If you're not, now's the time to do it. And let's go on to those winners. We got another winner of 100 points, F. Smidic, I believe is how you pronounce that.
His name's Felix. His name's Felix. I know that guy. He's one of our members. He's a Produce Tech member. Hey, Felix.
Oh, that's fantastic. So
nice.
He wins. And then we have another one, which Dan Emos. Dan #1 MOS is the other winner from your Loopcloud drum segment. And let's just do one more to round out the video here. Let's just do one more.
What the hell?
Put a comment in the. I cannot believe this person is
really persistent.
Like, take the hint. So you guys put it in the chat right now, and we're gonna choose one more winner before we wrap up the video here. And obviously, we've got Loop Masters and we've got Loopcloud Jack in the chat answering questions. So if you have any more questions, go ahead and put them in there, and we'll try to get those answered for you as well.
Good luck, guys. Get commenting. And then make sure you smash that like button. Annihilate that like button. Just
you hit it like you don't like it, but really it's because you like it. And we got it. The name is in. Mr. Scott Foster, you are the other winner. So if you are one of the people who have won, what I want you to do is go ahead and email. I cannot believe this person at my phone.
That's the sound of someone hitting the like button. They're just
that's what that is. Go ahead and email support@loopmasters.com, and we will get the points added to your account. Rob, if you want to go ahead and take me off the screen, I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to go handle this clear emergency at my front door.
Be nice. And nice one. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you later. Take it easy. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, we're going to wrap that up there. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Thank you for watching. And, yeah, look out for Loopcloud 5.3 along with Drum 1.5 coming next week, I believe on the 17th. So, if you have been, thanks for watching / listening, and we will see you again very soon for more updates, I'm sure.